Yo! Video games.
So you're telling me this thing actually has an intro?
Yeah, dude, it's weird.
This is the greatest image that could possibly go with our announcement.
Here it is.
We have not determined the cause of past failures. Moron! This Bandicoot will be my general, and he will lead my Cortex commandos to world domination. This time I shall reign triumphant. We are closer
What
than
the
ever
hell?
before.
Look at that
Quickly,
animation.
Into the vortex! Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do. Failure again.
Is this on stream? Are they getting this?
No, they're getting this.
Prepare the female bandit.
What the fuck? What the fuck is going on here?
That's some intense ass shit, man. I don't know. Welcome, folks, to one of the original, perhaps the only original PlayStation platforming masterpiece.
Oh, well, fuck you. Jumping Flash, motherfucker.
Crash Bandicoot, the most Bandicoot of crashes, is going to begin, and Simmons is at the helm. We'll see if his expertise with a plethora of knowledge to Donkey Kong and Mario is going to help him here.
Absolutely not.
This is a Sony joint, son. You're washed up on sea. I think this is a giant metaphor for Gilligan's Island. I do remember there being an assload of secrets in this game. Just like random stuff and different ways that you can go and stuff like that.
So, Mike's...
I've beaten this game.
Okay.
A long time ago.
I have not. My memory of this game is... I remember playing it at a Blockbuster video, yes.
And it did look really good back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that back in '96, playing it at a Blockbuster. They had like a table in like the middle of the store.
Yeah.
And there was a Saturn, a PlayStation, and like an N64 on each, like sticking out on each end, going out like in a three prong. And I remember that's where I played the most of this game. And I kind of dug it because I like platformers, but the problem was this game came out, I believe, the same year as Super Mario 64.
That's a bad call. But still, Crash was like...
This is not bad. It was just like, it wasn't Mario 64.
Yeah, and in an age of like 3D platforming, it was like Mario 64 was the first to do like super legit 3D platforming, right? And this game did 3D platforming in a different way.
Yeah.
This was kind of like Sony's answers to Donkey Kong more than Mario. It really feels that way.
Well, at least from like the theme and the aesthetics.
The theme and like, you know, how the character does stuff and things like that. Yeah, I feel like this is more DK than Mario. Either way, Crash Bandicoot was pretty much the fucking mascot of Sony for the entirety of the original PlayStation's life cycle. And then Activision got a hold of him and fucked him.
Well, I mean, that's kind of something that always like trips people up is it's always been owned by Universal.
Yeah.
It always was a Universal property, and when Universal started their own thing, Universal Interactive, and then they merged with Activision, and lo and behold, Crash went to Activision. So
there you go.
There you go.
Not a lot happened to Crash beyond the PlayStation 1 era. There was a couple of games I think that showed up on PS2 and Xbox.
There was a lot of games on PS2. A lot.
There was a lot of Crash games after PSX? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, there were way more.
No wonder it died, because I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, like, for a long time it went to Traveler's Tales, who make the Lego games. And then after that, was in Vicarious Vision's hands for a long time. And then I think it died after that.
There was only one Crash racing game, and that was on PlayStation Original. That was made by Naughty Dog,
There were
right?
a bunch of Crash racing games.
Really?
There was only one by Naughty Dog. There was, Crash Team Racing, the first one by Naughty Dog, and then there was a bunch. There was like Crash Nitro Kart, Crash Tag Team Racing. I think there was another one too.
It seems like way too much. It seems like they kind of milked the franchise into the ground.
And granted, I never. Well, it got absorbed by Activision.
Yeah.
I never actually really played any of those games. I only played this one, really.
Yeah, I played Crash 1 and 2, and I've beaten both 1 and 2. Holy shit. And I remember thoroughly enjoying them back in the day. I'm like, these are good games. I didn't spend a lot on them. I didn't buy them as immediately as they came out. They kind of like, when I bought my PlayStation from my friend, he had Crash in 1 and 2, and I just kind of like beat the shit out of him. This is back in the day when like, I wasn't actively like looking for a Crash Bandicoot game. I just had it, and I'll play it.
Yeah.
One of those days, like, you know, when you're in high school and junior high, and if you have a game, you pretty much dominate the shit out of it. You do everything in it, you know? I think Crash Bandicoot falls into that perfectly, right next to Siphon Filter 1 and 2.
Oh yeah. See, I don't get it. What's up with the why is my bitch here, and not being raped by Dr. Midget Vortex?
See, we just had bitch and rape in one sentence.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it, man. I fucking get it. I can get out of here. She's so Candy Kong in this game.
I know, it's kind of weird. That's what I mean. The similarities are insane.
Maybe someone on the stream can answer this. Do you have to fucking go to these bonus rooms to save? Because we were playing it earlier just to get a feel for the game.
Pretty sure you do.
And it seems like to save, you have to collect the 3 Bandicoot girlfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
Go to the bonus round, not fall off the bonus round, which is as easy as pressing up. And that's the only way to fucking save in this game.
And do you have a memory card?
Oh, we didn't make one.
Oh, you need that to play.
We got passwords and shit.
Well, okay.
We want to do start the whole. Jesus Christ.
You have to earn a gem to save.
Earn a gem.
It's either beat the bonus rounds or get a gem.
That is so fucking
Yep.
stupid.
That's what they're saying. Yep. Well, it's like old classic games like
No,
this, dude.
no, it is not.
Yeah, it is, man.
No, it is not. No old classic game had that kind of convoluted mess to save
No, it
the
was
game.
superior. Sony was best. They knew they
Fine,
made nothing
collect
wrong.
shit to go to bonus round to save.
It's harder than it sounds. Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country was go to candy on the world map.
What have I got? What have I got? At least you don't need ink ribbons. That's a good observation.
Oh, we should point out to someone, we noticed this. Like, Crash has 3 frames of animation for landing a jump.
Yeah, check this out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then back to idle.
This is some straight up fucking injustice shit here.
Hey man, Justice ain't that bad. It just has some interesting decisions.
No, yeah, it's worse. Injustice doesn't even have an animation for jumping. Batman kind of bends his legs a bit and then goes up.
That's the one thing that I only hark on Injustice. The neutral jumping in that game can be a little weird. You don't really notice it, like, but when you look at how characters act and stuff, it's a little odd. It ain't that bad. It is the most ridiculous thrusting animation I've ever seen. I don't know, I wouldn't mind seeing Crash coming back in some regard. Oh, Jesus God, Simmons. Jump on their heads.
These dumb shits.
And then kill them. I wouldn't mind seeing Crash coming back in some regard. I'd like to see it a bit different, though. But I think the only way people know Crash is from, like, the behind-the-back perspective. I'd like to see Crash come back as something like Resident Evil 4.
Fuck!
Like with a gun.
What the fuck? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Over his shoulder with a gun.
You
Like
just
Shadow the Hedgehog times 20.
Okay, Max.
I think that's exactly what this industry needs right now. And also he can also call a Titan.
Call the Titan. Don't you remember Crash of the Titans?
I don't want to talk about
It exists already, Max.
So what you're saying is that we're just waiting for it to be made.
No, it is made. There is a game called Crash of the Titans.
Don't worry, we work in the modern gaming industry. We'll just imagine that those things don't exist and make our own. Hit the other box! Yes. Don't press up. Don't press up. Whatever you do. 6%. You're almost there, Simmons. You almost beat it. I have no idea how the 6% translates.
I'm like crashing into her like muff right here.
Or what?
Muff. There is a kind of a great joke about that at the end of Jak 3. Shout out to all my Jak and Daxter people.
What? I've never played any of those games.
Well, okay. Spoilers! At the end of Jak 3, Daxter's girlfriend gets turned into an Otso like him.
Okay.
And he says, like, don't worry, it's not so bad once you get used to it or whatever. Says though you might he says something along the lines of, though you might want to trim up down there.
What the fuck?
Because you get turned into a little furry Otso.
That's lewd. That's L-U-D-E.
Well, remember how after the first Jak game went all extreme and mature?
Yeah, I remember that.
When Chris Nolan, Dark Knight, Jak!
PlayStation did have some really good franchises, but for some reason I was never attached to that stuff, man.
What?
Like Ratchet and Clank and
Oh, no.
Jak and Daxter
Sly Cooper.
and Sly Cooper. I never got into any of
Look
them.
how boring this level's in. It's boulders.
Maybe it's a metaphor for getting on the toilet.
For me. Although you had a great observation about this level already. Whose favorite level was this?
What was it?
Boulders.
I can't remember. What the hell could I say?
You said, oh, this is Chris Redfield's favorite level.
Oh yeah, Chris Redfield's favorite level. I thought it was an Indiana Jones reference, but that whole thing is an Indiana Jones reference. Chris Redfield runs towards the screen and just furiously punches. Yeah, I have nothing against like Sly Cooper or anything like that. The only one of the big PlayStation franchises that I played was the Crash Bandicoot games, and it was on PSX. To be honest, by the time PS2 came out, I was already like working. I think right after the PS2 came out, I was working at an electronics boutique. So I had like a part-time job, and I was going to school full-time. And at that point, I became really picky about the games that I played, like super picky. So, yeah. All those games like kind of came out around me. I remember like debuting Jak and Daxter to the world. Nice, first try. Good shit.
I honestly like Jak and Daxter. That was probably my favorite Naughty Dog franchise.
Yeah. I think it had a lot of style, and I had a lot of like, it was like an adventure game.
I didn't play Jak 2.
Spyro, that's another one too.
Yeah, I played Spyro 1.
I never played them.
I played a lot of Spyro 1, but that was it. Like, I never played Jak 2, but I beat Jak and Daxter. I beat Jak 3. I didn't play any of the other ones. But I like those ones.
What have I got?
Although I felt it was really... I really hated how during the PlayStation 2 era, and I kind of blame Jason Rubin for this, because he was the one who was kind of like spearheading the whole thing. Like, you need to change or go home.
Yeah,
like, you can't have a platformer. Like, his whole mentality that, like, the platform genre died during the 32/64-bit era. Now you better be bringing something new to the table or forget it. Basically, he was talking about like merging genres, where it was like shooter with platformer. You can't just make a platformer anymore. I was like, well, I beg to fucking differ,
Sounds
sir.
like Bernie Stolar hating JRPGs.
Yeah, well, Jason Rubin's always been an asshole in my mind. Ever since the original PlayStation days, because the guy would just fuel the flames of like console wars with his comments about like Nintendo and shit during the day, and it was just kind of like, dude, have some fucking professionalism.
Yeah. Ape Escape's another great example. Never played it.
Played one.
As far as like the PlayStation era, the ones I was really into was like Metal Gear.
What have I got?
That was for a very long time a PlayStation exclusive franchise.
Yeah. Actually, you know what though? When you think about it, like, not really in a way. Like, one came out. One came out in '98.
Yeah.
Like 2 came out in 2001. And then Twin Snakes came out in like 03.
Yeah.
And it almost came out in 02 or something.
Parasite Eve is a good one. That one I definitely played. I used PlayStation 1 was definitely one of the Sony consoles that I got the most traction out of, as well as PS2, because PS2 is the greatest selling one of all time. It is crazy to think that PS2 is the greatest selling console of all time. But even at the same time, I don't think that's not really like odd. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. It has pretty much the best games like ever.
It's not odd to me because it broke so fucking much. Like the first 2 to 3 years, everyone had to replace it.
Yeah, it did have some mad issues.
Yeah, I'm really salty towards like the PS2 because of that time when we worked.
PS2 and PS1 series did have really bad problems.
Yeah, when we worked in retail during the early days of the PS2, and the thing fucking broke so much, we had to deal with people returning them all upset and shit. It made me really hate that system.
By that time, I think I stopped caring.
But it was like fuck, we had like this 3 years of like amazing Dreamcast run, and then it's like, here's the PS2 with the DVD player, and it doesn't fucking work after 90 days.